We're here in Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's part of Cabarrus County, which is one of the fastest growing counties in North Carolina. And for a long time, it's been really reliably Republican. But part of why we're here is because we've seen pretty big population growth, and that's really shifted the demographics of the county, and it's made it just a little bit more purple. What kind of issues are most important to you as you're thinking about which one you ultimately go with?
Drop the economy, because the prices of food and stuff like that is outrageous. I just don't see how the world has not turned over to crime yet. Gas, food, milk, eggs $5 a dozen. That's crazy.
The cost of living has went up too much with all the new people coming in. And that's been a strain on elderly people especially, and young people like yourself, trying to go out on your own. So that's been the main thing.
Here in North Carolina, it's really hit education, just the thought of the restrictions and trying to defund the public schools and book banning.
How can you make policies for me when you've never stepped in my neighborhood? Not only that, I feel it's time for our government to reflect our community.
We're in Oakland County, Michigan today. This is Woodward Avenue, which is sort of the heart of Oakland. Oakland County, in a lot of ways, is a state within a state inside Michigan. Its population is 1.3 million people, which is more than 8 states. Its gross domestic product is 127 billion, which is more than 14 states. In the last half of the 20th century, it was reliably Republican. But by 2000, it had become more diverse, both racially and politically. Today, it's reliably Democratic, but both parties are really targeting it because the margin matters.
I do door knocking, canvassing is what it used to be called, and talking to people. They've either made up their mind, but there's people argue about the percentage of undecideds, but people are willing to listen.
You'll never convert someone or even make someone see a tiny portion of your point of view unless you understand where they're coming from and are open and vulnerable to your differences.
Which issues are driving your vote? What's most important to you in the next president?
Where is their stance on homelessness and feeding the homeless? Because as a person who was homeless before, I feel like that is one of my biggest concerns. We have too many good people that are on the streets right now, and there are so many people who are one check away from just being put on the street.
So we're driving around Richmond County right now. It's the home of Augusta. And we've been trying to get kind of outside the city center to talk with folks who are maybe in some of the smaller cities that are in Richmond County.
Richmond County is definitely the underdog. We're about 2.5 hours from Atlanta, so it's like the little Atlanta, so to speak.
What issues do you care most about this election cycle?
The issues that I'm most passionate about are women's rights, women's reproductive rights, and having autonomy over our bodies.
Illegal crossing of the border and providing funds and driver's license or those things that we worked so hard for, I don't think should be allowed. Otherwise, I think that families should be together, not separated. But I think there's a way to do everything legally, and if you're doing anything illegally coming across the border, then we don't need you here.
As long as I'm feeling secure in my president and what they're doing on, a national and international level, I will be happy.
Thank you.
So we're on the outskirts of the city of Erie today in Erie County, Pennsylvania. It has a large blue-collar workforce, a lot of union shops here, including the folks at the former GE transportation plant here in Lawrence Park Township. So you can kind of see that the union vote here carries a lot of weight. And it's not just this union, but all the other unions that they're associated with in this town.
NAFTA obviously was a big blow to this area. I mean, we were one of the big, proud manufacturing towns. A lot of our own product line is now made in Mexico.
The price of everything gone up, gas.
Our car insurance is going for near double.
Everything has gone up, and ever since the Democrats have been in there, it's been terrible, and this country needs to be fixed. And I think Donald Trump can really do it.
His policies are very anti-union. And I just think he gets in, we are screwed.
I'm interested in how we can take the poor zip code in Erie, PA, and turn it around and give these people a future. I think that you're going to see a fairly strong resurgence of unions in this country.
We're here at the farmers market in Waukesha. This is a county where we see votes fluctuate by tens of thousands really over time. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty reliably Republican. But we're also seeing Democrats court it more and more, especially at the national level. So what are you paying attention to heading into the election?
Probably one of the bigger things is the housing market. Yeah. I have kids that are about that age that are looking to get into a new home, and I don't know how people are going to do it. And of course, the other thing is the whole women's issues. I have two daughters, and have been very concerned about that, and I feel very strongly about it, and there just needs to be more respect for women and our bodies and the decisions that we make.
Everybody has basic needs in life, right? We all need a job, we all need a house, a place to stay, we need to put food in our bellies, we need to take care of our basic provisions. My sense in this particular moment in time is that, prices have gotten out of control, and we've seen rapid inflation that we haven't seen in decades. And that's troubling for people.
All of us need to ask more questions and make less assumptions, and really check ourselves on that, and learning that asking questions isn't rude.
We're in Old Town Scottsdale, Arizona. This is in the heart of Maricopa County. This is also ground zero in some ways for some of the swing voters, the split ticket voters that are uncommon in American politics, but are actually pretty frequent here in Maricopa County these days. Christopher, tell us who you're supporting this year and why.
Well, of course, as you can see by my flags and stuff, I'm for Trump. I voted for him last time, and I actually think he's an honest man.
I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that's been a core of my life in the LDS community. It's difficult to acknowledge that you're going to be voting for Harris because culturally that is not the norm. So part of our mission is to say, hey, look, you can do this.
Chris, you're not especially fond of either of your choices, is that correct?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. We should definitely have better selection as far as presidential candidates go. I don't have too many bad things to say about either one, but I can't really say either one really represents a president I'd like to see representing America.
You are a military veteran, correct?
Yes.
And what branch did you serve with?
United States Navy.
What are the top issues for you in this election?
Well, the number one would be climate change. Number two is you can't take away from the military. That's very important.
I'm doing this, and no disrespect, it's because I think your candidate poses a risk to the values that I hold dear, one of which is the rule of law.
Taxation is important. Not just being taxed, but how is that tax money being used? I'm okay with helping our country, but if the country's not making good decisions with the money, then I think I'm gonna be better off using my money for what I think I can use it for, as opposed to just giving, for lack of a better word, reckless politicians power to do what they want with the money.
Washoe County, home to Reno, is the swingiest county in the state. Nevada's rural counties vote consistently and heavily Republican, while Clark County, home to Las Vegas, leans Democratic. So Washoe County often plays a key role in how Nevada goes.
What's driving me to the polls is that we need to make America great again. And we had that great America once under the Trump administration. And when the Biden administration took over, it took a turn. And so we need to bring it back again to have that American dream once more.
I do see myself being spoken to the most by the Harris Waltz ticket, if you will. I think just the alignment of supporting the values that I hold true within our family that do speak to diversity, equity, and inclusion, that speak to opportunities for education and access to health.
So now you're a nonpartisan, so what led you to not want to affiliate with one of the two major parties?
I think they're mostly poisonous at this point to our democracy and to each other, whereas nonpartisan is someone that can take things from both sides, make their own position on it, but also listen to other people's opinions and take them in for themselves, and whether or not they want to accept those opinions is up to that person.
Is there anything that gives you hope or optimism looking forward on the political front?
Seeing the issues that are important and the people that are excited about the election, and knowing that those things are probably going to make a change and make a difference in so many people's lives.
If you don't know who to vote, you got to think of your next generation. You know, we have young people nowadays. They have to not just think of themselves, they have to think of the future. Where the earth is going to, where the environment is going to, where our country is going to, not just locally, but globally.